Hello everyone and welcome to Stage 501. Tonight I'm your host and MC, Ray M. We have some apparently controversial guests today. We'll be trying to deliver some resolution on a big argument that happened recently. So let's move forward with the introduction, starting with myself first. As you know, I approach politics from the perspective of the socialist third worldism tendency. And I'm an advocate of post-colonial feminism. So I'm just going to move forward and let the others also introduce themselves while we're going forward with this as well.
Do I go now?
Of course.
Hi, I'm President Sunday. I'm a political scientist, and my hat is nicer than yours.
Fair statement.
I really don't know how I can top that, but I'm Clossington. I'm Clossington. I'm something of an upstart YouTuber. I'm just glad to be into the game with all of its ups and downs. Glad to be here.
I'm fucking me. Read my card. I don't need to introduce myself because I'm anarchist. Thank you. I'm here for the lulz or something.
And I'm a hodgepodge secular stoic, anarcho soft dem, libertarian, federalist, utilitarian, humanitarian syndicalist.
Yes! I thought
That's well said.
I think it's gonna be gone forever, but it's back.
Yeah. So basically, there I was stumbling over the introduction. But this is one of those things where sometimes when you're in a live stream, what can you do, right? Other than to basically just press on ahead. So I think that actually went quite well for it. The first time we've actually done introductions in that way. So.
Man, am I right?
But basically, we can jump right in on this. So, I mean, what happened last week? That caused all of this controversy was that apparently on the distributed server there was a conversation that occurred.
It's not Dave's server.
No, it's not Dave's server.
Oh, sorry. Whose server was it then? Really?
It's Endeavor. It's
Endeavor server. Yes, sorry. So on Endeavor's server, there was a conversation which occurred, and apparently the contents of this conversation were leaked to basically everyone. So. Can you explain to me, I'll put this to President Sunday first, can you explain to me like exactly what happened and how this sequence of events came to be, in your view?
Oh, that's a pretty long story.
Shorten it up for us, or tell us the full thing. Come on now.
Well, at what level of resolution do we want to talk about this at? Do we want to go like from like
Up to you.
what? For the discussion in the first place? I mean, the nature of the discussion was effectively that, and it's kind of laughable again given the scale of the thing we're talking about here, but people in Endeavor's server, which included present company and the distributist in particular, were basically discussing what's going to happen going forward with respect to the future of the dissident right. And please correct me on this, Clossington, because my memory is hazy, but basically the idea was that the ousting of Bernie from the race for the presidency represented an opportunity in that a lot of disaffected leftists would be made much more easily amenable to people in the dissident right, because this sort of global capitalist apparatus or what have you had clearly successfully undermined them as well as the right, and so there's some common cause here. And so the idea was, well, we'll make some overtures, we'll post some of their memes, things like that, and this will make people on the left sort of amenable to us, and we can sort of combine our efforts to take down this scourge of modernity or what have you. I mean, if we could play the clip itself, it's already been played sort of ad nauseum as far as I can tell. But that's more or less the gist of it.
I don't necessarily think that's an unfair analysis of what we were talking about, but what you have to keep in mind is that this was a conversation at midnight, behind the scenes, completely unmoderated, just shooting.
We
the
were
shit.
drunk. It was just us and the boys.
Oh yeah, guys. lots of slip ups, lots of
a little bit of dick
characterizations of what was said in this conversation, and the fact that it was actually recorded using an alt account is I'm not saying that it's sleazy, but it's sleazy as hell. Especially considering that you recorded a one-on-one private Skype conversation with the distributist without his knowledge or prior consent. That was incredibly messed up, and it turned a lot of people into enemies of you. All right.
Slow down, Cowboy. Let's parse them things out a little bit. Let's clarify.
All right. So did you or did you not record this conversation without his knowledge or consent?
Which conversation are we talking about? Which conversation are we talking about?
We are talking about the one that you talked about in your 54-minute long tirade and bad faith poisoning of the well of distributist.
Oh, I see. You're talking about the one where I talk about how the distributist doesn't understand philosophy, and by way of explanation for why I was so harsh with him, I gave an expose very briefly of a private conversation.
Did you not record this private conversation without his consent or knowledge, and then use that private conversation as part of a tool to discredit him?
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You
Really?
admitted it in private DMs, and then you mischaracterized exactly what he said.
Closington.
Let me intervene for a second. Although it is important,
Hey, Ray,
rights and everything like that.
Right now.
Say again.
Ray. Please, Harry.
I'm trying. Yeah. Shut the fuck up for a minute. All right, I'm slow because I'm on the drink. But listen, it is important to point out the fact about, privacy invasion or what have you. But that would, okay, listen, you don't have to talk over me. Just let me try to get shit out
talked
here.
Over us.
Yes, because you're both starting to say "fuck you." Yes, you did, and it's getting pointless.
Okay,
so I'm coming in to make a point for both sides.
I'll give her 2 minutes to try to make this point.
All right.
Okay, all I'm saying is the invasion of privacy thing is important, although you have to look up specifically Discord's things or whatever as well, because if Discord is just gonna say there's no privacy or whatever, it's not gonna matter that much. Not that this is the main issue. I think we should be focusing on the main issue, which is apparently you want to somehow manipulate people that are already left into extremist rightism or whatever.
No, it's not.
That's
what they want.
What do they want?
No.
No, that's not exactly what we're going for. In terms of what I actually want, in terms of a left-right dialogue, I've been working with leftists for my entire online and offline career, right?
I know, except
Ray,
with me.
Your stream was the second live stream I had ever been on YouTube, and since then I've done nothing but give, I guess, good faith, fun-loving conversations on this tier stream, right? We talk defending the Taliban notwithstanding.
I think the
Hey,
thing
Ray.
that people were concerned about, the thing that people
Ray,
were
may
concerned
I?
about Clossington.
May I have 5
yes.
seconds?
Yes, go ahead.
I just want you to run something by you quickly. Since we're deciding to be as invidious as this, let's just break this right out.
Oh yeah, I'm ready, Daddy.
Can you shut up for a second, Hera?
No!
Ray,
Tell me to shut up, I talk more.
Ray, can you moderate, please? I need some
Okay,
silence.
sorry. Yes, I have to moderate. You guys have to go one at a time.
I was just commenting.
Can you mute this person temporarily?
No.
Okay.
Just go ahead. It'll be fine.
LOL.
In class instead of race or sex.
We're listening to Clossington.
Corporations. You're not supposed to direct them. They're bigger than you. You can't direct them. You're just trying to be a wedge. You're trying to be. What?
Forgive me for being a bit skeptical.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, just to be clear as well, the talk.
Hang on. This is from the
Class instead of race or sex.
Hang on a
I
second.
want to make on that specific, but the cool.
Then harass report.
There we go. That's it. Thank you. All right. Pay attention to this.
Wait, okay, so you heard it right there. It's like
No,
I
you
said,
hang on. Slow down, Cowboy.
Is actively complicit right now in helping the cathedral fight the dissident right, which is the opposite of what they should be doing. Sure, it is, but that hurts something. That hurts their credibility, right? So, but
Thanks for the raid.
but the thing is that what we need to do is 2 fronts. First of all, if Brexit comes in and cooperates with global capital, humiliate them for it. Obviously,
This is important.
Okay, right.
So like every time ContraPoints gets an article in the New York Times, if she doesn't condemn, or someone like The Economist, if she doesn't condemn The Economist, then harass her for it, or not harass her.
harass her.
So
No.
Harass.
All right.
see,
So
I said don't harass ContraPoints. I said
Said
call her
if
out.
there was conditions.
Yeah, it did seem to
No.
be a conditional thing going on there between you guys.
No, the thing is, we're talking about
If ContraPoints
anti-corporatism.
is still a liability to us, don't harass her. That's
No,
what I heard.
obviously, don't harass people.
Okay, then.
Obviously.
Why is that
Obviously.
obvious? It just sounded like you were willing to harass, or you had to inform people that are
We're not just
used
willing.
to
In fact-
harassing
in
all
fact,
the time. You had to tell them not
Hang on,
to.
Hera, hang on a sec. We actually owe
What's up,
Clossington. No. Clossington has done us a definite service because, as he will point out, this leaked Discord call is very boring without the fact that he, by himself, offered up the word harassment specifically. That's very interesting. Even if you walked back on it, which the distributist, by the way, insisted that no.
Of course, we
Harass her,
fucking
good.
object to this.
Of course,
You say
we
of
object to
course,
this,
but it's not
because
like
whenever
an
you
obvious
have-
thing to us.
hang on.
Whenever you go on and on about how my advertisements and my online media is unfair and unjust and my corporations are bad, then you
What are
get
you talking
tough
about?
pieces.
What are you talking about?
What does
You're
this
talking
have to do with the topic at
actual-
hand?
I'm talking
not
about
talking
the
clearly.
actual conversation that we were having. It's like,
Which one is this?
No, you're not.
so
You're
whenever you,
derailing.
Okay, guys, one person at a time. I'm talking to Clossington here. Clossington, are you addressing me or are you addressing Hera? Who are you addressing?
no, I'm addressing the actual accusation that
What's the accusation?
anyone,
Let's
if
clarify.
anyone,
What is the accusation?
the accusation is that me, the distributist, and whatever clandestine organization you think we have endorses any sort of online harassment of BreadTube.
You
Which
just
we-
endorsed this.
Who
We
said
just heard you
that?
endorse this. You said this explicitly.
Yeah, I literally heard that myself.
Like this
No,
isn't a
you
story
did
someone's
not-
spinning. This
you
is
did
your
not-
voice. Clossington.
No, you clip that out, so you didn't have us.
Actually, I let you walk back from it. I went as far as to let you walk back on it, and for the distributist who has thrown you under the bus by sending you here alone, say no.
he
Actually,
did not
we
send
should.
me
We
here.
should
Yeah,
harass
that is pretty
He did not
cowardly.
send me here. He advised me
No,
against
He let
going
you
into
come here
here.
by
Because
yourself.
I want to fully clarify
Well,
that you are okay
I mean,
with
you're
recording
very
A, private conversations, B, clipping it out, whatever content you want, and then mischaracterizing what I said. I do not want anyone to be harassed.
Clossington.
No, you
got into that
record private
Discord
conversations. You
Clossington.
record private discords, even though you are kicked out of them.
I got into that
record-
Discord. I got into
No.
that Discord because I was invited. If you go under
No.
Endeavor's videos, there is an invitation. I clicked the invitation. I was told you are invited to
the thing
join
is,
NRX Files, and I did. I was then a part of that conversation. If you listen to the end of the recording,
we don't like you because you do hit jobs on people, and you go through these like three. No, you do.
Is he killing people?
No, he goes.
What is a hit job? Is that like the new rim job?
He recorded a 3-hour conversation and then clipped out the part where I guess
it sounds
I was
like he has
not
the whole
too great with my words, because guess what? We were off air. We were off air. We were shooting the shit. We are not.
It doesn't matter. Like no one's sending you to jail.
Hera, please. I can't speak for myself here.
No, it's like how seriously do you actually
hang on, slow down,
off air shooting the shit, and then you accuse us of being bad faith actors.
Closington, I'm going to do you a favor here.
No, this is not very serious. This is not serious whatsoever. And then you send it to just about every single leftist out there saying that we condone harassment.
Goddamn idiot! Shut up for a second. I did record this.
Yes, you record everybody's private conversation, and then you try and find
both of you. I have a question on this, which is, in this meeting that was happening, it is the case that Endeavor was actually present in that meeting, right?
No, he was not.
No, he wasn't.
No, he was not.
Okay, but he knows of it because the only reason he knows of it is because he's heard the audio. Then, is that right?
Of course he knows of it. It was on his server. He doesn't know of it? That'd be pretty amazing.
Nobody cares because it's off air. It's just shooting the shit. Nobody is taking the words very seriously. Someone in your comment section said that like generals playing out the
I've got to slow you all down. I've got to slow you all down here. President Sunday needs to be able to respond because he's been trying to respond for like 3 minutes now.
Blosington, I'm about to do you a big favor. I did in fact record the conversation that I had with the distributist. Not a respect, by the way. Here's a question for you, though. Hang on, slow down. Here's a question. Closington, I'm speaking right now.
You've got to go one at a time.
Order in the court! God damn it!
It's unethical, and you claim to be a political scientist.
You have a mute button.
You've got to go one at a time.
I know that, but you have a mute button. You can assert.
What, is he not human? Can we not ask Closington nicely? Hey, Mr. Closington, I know you need to defend yourself, sir.
Wait,
but can you please wait a moment to do that as we
why should Closington be the one to why should Closington be the one to wait when he has been waiting?
Why are we debating about this, Ray?
This is not a debate. Closington, go first. Go first, Closington.
Okay, then Closington. My bad, I got it mixed up.
I didn't finish what I was saying.
Well, that's okay. You can say it in a minute.
Okay.
Now, no, I'm saying President Sunday speaks now.
You said Closington. Oh my God. Who's more drunk?
Ray, Hera, please be quiet. Closington, why do you know about the fact that I recorded that conversation with the distributist? It wasn't because I published it. Why do you know about it?
No, it's because he specifically said.
Why do you know about it? Why do you know about it? Simple question, Closington. Why do you know about it?
Oh, why do I know about it? Because everybody knows that you record people's private conversations, and then you admitted on air right here.
How did you become aware of this particular conversation?
You asked me a question. Why don't you let me respond?
This particular conversation. This particular conversation. Don't talk about what I always do. This particular conversation. How are you aware of it?
Okay,
you are aware of it because, as a courtesy, I told the distributist that I had recorded it for my own reflection and assured him I would not publish it
without his consent.
The contents of that recording were him ranting like a madman because I wouldn't just assent to the idea that black people had an inherently lower IQ than whites without controlling for environment. This made him flip his shit. The reason why we had a conversation in the first place was because I was trying to repair our relationship because he was angry at me for attacking the academic agent, for attacking the Civil Rights Act, apparently for this reason, which I thought was just because cynically he wanted to maintain unity in the right.
No, you said in that conversation that you are a follower with public schools shaming white kids, right? You said it's okay to publicly harass white kids in public schools.
What are you talking about? Hang on. Slow down, cowboy.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Sources, please.
Yeah, sources, please.
Sources,
Let me finish. Let me finish. Right? You said that it's okay for white kids to be shamed in public schools. and he is defending his kid, right? He is against this nonsense, right?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. What are you talking about?
See, it's easy to like mischaracterize people in a private.
What? Mischaracterize what? You didn't hear this conversation. I didn't publish it.
Of course, you just admitted that you recorded this without his knowledge or prior consent.
I didn't record the conversation. I'm in Canada, one-party consent state. I'm allowed to do that. I didn't record. I didn't publish the conversation. I had to record it. So how do you know what the content of it was? How do you know what the content of the conversation was? The distributors told you? He's a fucking liar. I'm sorry.
What President Sunday is saying, hold on, what President Sunday is saying right now is consistent with what he has said before, which is that there was a conversation between himself and the distributist, which he did record but never published.
Without distributist prior consent or knowledge.
But I mean, if he never published it, then it means that no one has ever heard it. So, for example, I have not heard.
Ray, one moment. Closington, California is a two-party consent state, but the law falls in the state in which the recording is done. I am in Canada, a one-party consent state. As a party of the conversation, if I consent, I can record it. In fact, I could publish it. I'm not going to, as a matter of courtesy.
Yeah.
As a matter of courtesy, right?
For the record.
This is the only reason
as well. Let me just get in here again, guys. For the record as well, just in case anyone ever asks this question, I also have not heard that particular recording.
Yeah, I think we all heard it for the first time here for a clip.
No, you're talking about a different one. You're talking about a different one. None of us heard this recording because he's never published it.
I agree. Like, I was trying to kind of say that earlier, even though I'm fucked up about. I guess it's because we're both Canadian.
Is it ethical as a political scientist to go into a 3-hour conversation and look for gotcha?
Scientist, like I'm part of a church.
I'm also part of Antifa, who go undercover and report people all the time.
All this nonsense.
Ray, this is really frustrating with Hera constantly interrupting. Can we do something about this?
You need to stop.
Seriously though, all of you do need to actually remain within the boundaries.
Everybody collectively to do that when specific people are breaking the rules doesn't help.
What rules?
Times where people are muted so people can speak.
No. You can calm down with that power trip.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's go through the ethics of this.
Right, let's go through the ethics of going through a 3-hour late-night conversation and then looking for gotcha points.
Hang on.
Guess what?
Well, I didn't look for gotcha points. You made them all to see. You did. You specifically. Thank God you were so stupid as to say, let's harass ContraPoints. Nobody else in that Discord was that dumb until you prompted them. Well done. Good job, Closington.
Who gives a shit about an off-air conversation where I don't do anything, but we're just shooting the shit? Hey, guys.
Just shooting the shit, talking about how we're going to harass ContraPoints, who's already been harassed off of Twitter.
Who gives a shit? You're looking for
also, can I
give a shit about harassing
conversation
I
that included Dark Souls.
I do want to cut in. I do want to cut in again on you there, Clossington. This is the thing which I've noticed has been coming up repeatedly during this conversation, is that you're characterizing it as a conversation where nothing that was discussed somehow parlayed its way into reality. However, on your YouTube channel, did you not publish a video, it must have been about 24 to 36 hours later, in which the content of that video was remarkably similar to what was allegedly discussed in the audio?
Of course, because guess what? President Sunday goes to every single left-wing source out there and says that I endorse harassment. Well, guess what? I don't.
We just heard you endorse it. In fact, of everybody in that recording, you were the only one who proposed it. If anything, you should sacrifice yourself for the good of the collective and say you were the bad apple of the bunch.
I don't take this seriously. I don't take this seriously whatsoever. You go into a 3-hour conversation, and you're looking for a gotcha moment. Guess what? I was sloppy with my words. Guess what? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
You're not going to jail for this.
No, you go to Zero Books, they listen to it, and they're like, oh, this is interesting. But what are the actual stakes here? Because they don't take this seriously. Nobody takes this seriously.
You just said you don't.
Of course I don't. It's like if Sunday broke into the distributor's house and then took a picture of him and his.
This fucking reminds me of. Can I make a quick point? This
Yeah,
just reminds
Kara,
me.
go for a second. Yeah.
This reminds me back in like college days where like if you had roommates that was a dude or something and who bring all his friends over and they all sit there talking about raping and drugging a girl and then you go over and you're like, what the fuck? And they're like, we're just talking shit. It just feels like the same. Like that doesn't feel like a good reason to just brush off what you said was that, oh, I wasn't serious. Like, okay. I didn't hear laughing. I heard you saying, "Don't harass her if she supports such and such."
Yeah, this actually was quite serious. This was demonstrated by the fact that they actually landed upon a practical course of action after the stream ended, after the video chat ended. Clausington even suggested he should go to his local DSA and make inroads with them. This isn't.
No.
This
Yeah,
wasn't.
I was going to ask about that as well. The DSA thing. What was that all about?
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm actually rather close with my local DSA. I've worked with my local, with one of my libertarian socialist professors on editing a book. I'm rather close with the college Dems, yada yada yada. But guess what? It comes from good faith conversation and not fucking harassment.
Right.
It takes.
That's plan B, right?
What was that?
That's step 2.
Yeah. If you
What's
can't
step
coax
2?
them with nice words, then you harass them.
No. Hang on. Slow down.
I just want to cut in here again for a quick question before I'll get you go next, President Sunday, though. But I just want one more question to Clossington before I pass it back to President Sunday, which is what was the overall political goal that was being discussed there? Because if I understand it correctly, it seemed as though you guys were saying that people on the dissident right should collaborate with people who are upset and are in the burning or bust category in order to somehow triangulate against Joseph Biden in the 2020 election, which would lead to what?
I have no clue, right?
Would that not lead to Trump being reelected if everyone did what you wanted?
I don't know, and I don't particularly care because this was we don't care. We didn't bring this into any sort of IRL praxis. Right, we talked. Most of us condemned the very thought of, I guess, trying to create some sort of unironic Nazbol gang, which I was hammered for on Twitter later after I actually proposed this in a video. Right? Do you know why? It's because we disagree fundamentally on values, and that's what I really didn't realize. Right? That's the oversight.
I don't even know.
I mean, is that bad? Like. Okay, so I come off, right?
Okay,
let me finish.
Yeah, let him finish. Yeah, let him finish the sentence then.
All right, so I come off straight from researching Althusser, Gramsci, and Mark Fisher, right? I research all of these leftists. I realize, hey, they've actually got something of a point. Over the last couple months, I've been researching the postmodernists, and I've grown to be something of a fan of publishers like Zero Books, right? And so I realized there's something that we can learn, right? And so I go onto these streams, like Ray, like I go onto your stream in good faith. I learn a thing or two, and guess what? You people are actually kind of nice, right? Most of the time.
I'm a bitch.
Kara, you are fantastic.
I'm a huge bitch.
But look, if you actually approach people in good faith, you can actually learn a thing or two, right? And so from that angle, I guess, we realized that something like the hells of postmodernity and angst against neoliberalism, we have something in common, and we can actually kind of analyze things collectively, right? Especially if we approach things from a good faith dialogue, which I have been doing IRL and online, right? And then you have these pawns, right, who have puff pieces written for them and fall right into, I guess, the normie trap. How much of a rebel can you actually be when you're held up as something of a neolib hero, right? If you're at
I mean, I do understand. I do understand what you're getting at here, but I mean, the circle in which you were having that conversation on the tape, like, I mean, I can understand what you're saying about how you want to engage in order to find out what people are thinking, etc., etc. But the circle of people you were involved with on that tape, like, I don't think that those people share the same thing that you're talking about there. Like, for example, I don't think the distributist wants to have like an honest engagement with me, because the last time the distributist had an honest engagement with, quote unquote, honest engagement with me, I asked him about the economic underpinnings of his ideology, and he effectively just walked them all back the more I kept asking questions.
But Ray, why are we taking this at face value naively? After the distributist said, no, actually harass them, that's good, harass them for it, Closington didn't object. You didn't say, no, we shouldn't harass these people for it. You didn't stand on principle and say, no, these are people who deserve respect. You were all on board with it. In fact, you were proposing solutions after the fact because you were perfectly happy with this plan, because you didn't think anybody would hear it. God knows why. It was a public discord.
Look, when you're chewing the shit with the words, right? And you make an offhand comment, right?
I know, right? Those words.
You say something like,
words.
Right, so whenever you go onto like a leftist channel and you talk about fucking guillotining the rich, or I don't know.
Those are memes, right?
I haven't talked about guillotining the rich.
I do,
whatever.
But it's a meme.
Yeah, what does it mean, Hara?
It is a meme. I'm extremely left.
Harassing ContraPoints is a meme.
Harassing is never a meme.
Yeah, I would struggle to understand how that one would be a meme. And for the record, by the way, we do not have guillotine memes anywhere near our server. So this is
that was a personal meme thing.
Okay.
Sometimes I engage in it with the proper audience.
Look,
as a joke.
With the proper audience, because guess what? You let your guard down. You're not incredibly.
No. I live by the tendency of I am always being recorded, even when I'm alone with someone. Okay, I've lived by that most of my life. So if someone caught me saying, "No, I know we're not," but I'm just like, if someone caught me saying "guillotine the rich," do you think it would ruin my reputation?
Okay, but why are we inserting this into the conversation? It's
because it's something of a corollary to what we've talked about.
What's the corollary?
Oh my god! If you're not on the boat, then stay off.
Corollary is being hyperbolic. The corollary is being hyperbolic when you're among the guys, right? When you live in a little echo chamber and you're like,
if you were being hyperbolic as a joke, Closington, why did you walk it back?
No. What do you mean?
No. You said if ContraPoints appears on The Economist or some such, and I forget the exact wording, but fails to criticize global homo or something like that, as you call it, harass her for it. No, wait, not harass. That isn't a joke, because the point of a joke like that is to shock. You wouldn't walk it back. And the distributors wouldn't reaffirm and say, no, you should harass. Harass is good. See, this doesn't make sense. Listen, here's fundamentally. Listen. Here's fundamentally the problem here.
If the dichotomy is there's something like the like.
No, I want to clarify this conversation a little bit. Here's fundamentally the problem. If indeed we take this by itself and we say, well, President Sunday went into someone's Discord server, public or not, and he overheard a conversation, and the people, now granted, the people, of course, as you know how Discord works, what does that sound? The people who know, okay, Harris, shut up, please. People who know how Discord
you hate me so much.
No, you're annoying. Just be quiet.
So are you, Dick Munch? I'm not over here telling everyone to mute you and acting like a fucking alpha. But
oh my god, can you guys not fight each other? Please, Hara. No, Hara, really, I do want you to not attack President Sunday.
Ray, listen.
Tell him to stop telling me to shut up.
Ray, listen to me for a moment. Ray, I'm going to be my time is precious. So here's the deal. If you don't exercise your position as an administrator with your mute button to actually make sure that people have a time,
he's threatening you to mute me.
I'm not threatening you. I'm saying I will not spend my time trying to rant over this.
Well, then no, dude.
Okay, so
can we agree on that? Let's make it fair, everybody.
No.
Sure.
Okay. Here's fundamentally the problem. Again, like, let's remove everything else. If I had just gone onto a public Discord, and of course, as you know how Discord works, you are alerted to the fact that they're of every single person who's part of the conversation, and you were in that case. And I recorded it and published it, and it was in fact innocuous. It would be weird and you likely wouldn't care because it would just be weird. The issue here again is that you agreed on 3 propositions. The first one is that you should make false overtures to BreadTube, which I assume to mean the left generally, retweet some of their memes, what have you, in order to get into their good graces so that you could effectively undermine them. Use them, collaborate with them until some common thing is gone, and then undermine them. The second thing you said, and this is really the crux of it, is that you suggested as a positive, practical tactic to drive a wedge in the left by using that newfound clout by retweeting their memes, etc., and harassing people who go off the reservation. And you use that word explicitly. And when you walked back on it, all credit to you, the distributist said, no, harass them, that's good. And you had no objection whatsoever, and you went along with the rest of the conversation.
What is the meaning of
finally that you cannot process in your brain the fact that people would have an issue with this. Like the idea that this is something that people would just not care about, or it's just like, it was just shooting the shit, is laughable. You would have to be insane to think that this would fly.
You have to be insane to go through a 3-hour conversation in bad faith. Look, you've recorded so many conversations. You go into so many servers, right?
Right.
You go into so many servers looking for little flaws, right? And then mischaracterize the entire thing. All right, so I disagree with 2 of those fucking premises.
Closington,
right?
I want to know.
You said that there are 3 prepositions.
I want to know what people are talking about.
Oh
No.
I don't publish the things that you say.
You made all these accusations. Now let me finish. Let me actually address them.
Oh, Ray, looks like you're gonna have to use your muting administrative powers to
so
mute Sunday.
in the actual present Sunday, and the distribute and his fellow new reactionaries conspire, yada yada yada, at 8 minutes and 5 seconds, I said, do not harass, and then said, not harass. Distributor said, not harass, call her out. Right? You didn't include that part in the actual conversation.
No, I did actually. There's no cut there, dude. That's a straight stream. You would notice if there was a cut because you were talking over the distributist.
No. You want to mischaracterize distributist because you have a vendetta against him.
No, I don't.
You are not a fucking good faith actor.
No,
you go from person to person.
I don't have a vendetta against the distributist. If I had a vendetta against the distributist,
and why the hell would you record his private conversation? Looking for
Closington. If I had a vendetta against the distributist, Closington.
Let President Sunday respond to that.
If I had a vendetta against the distributist, you would have heard that initial conversation, wouldn't you? Because that would hurt him.
How unethical that is, though. Do you not see how unethical recording private one-on-one conversations is? What the hell kind of credibility do you want to have?
You're so stuck on that.
Shut up! I didn't catch you. It's because he's always got. Because here's the thing. His daddy is a crypto white nationalist, and he went on live saying that they should harass ContraPoints. They have no defense. All they can say is, "Oh, he's bad for recording it. You're bad for saying it." At best, we're even.
Go through these conversations for whenever we're shooting this shit and we're at our most vulnerable, and then
as a fourth wave intersectional feminist shooting the shit and boys will be boys and stuff like that is all bullshit.
I want you to go on Twitter, Closington. I want you to go on Twitter and take a poll. How many people are on board with the idea that saying we should harass ContraPoints is just harmless shooting the shit? I really want to see the results of that. I'm excited.
Is that the same blackmail that you did with academic agent? Is that what
how
you
is this
do?
Blackmail.
I blackmailed the academic agent.
Speaking of which, can I just get in here, guys, on this now that academic agent's name has finally come up? Did you all know that academic agent actually sent me some weird DMs on Twitter before this stream started? Yesterday, in fact, in which he basically, I'm not going to give, obviously, I don't share the exact contents of DMs, but I'll give the summary of the DMs. So the summary of the DMs is he was basically saying that I should not run this stream today lest President Sunday should speak. Otherwise, he will permanently deplatform me from his venues. To which I responded, you've already permanently deplatformed me from your venues because I don't wear a poppy on Remembrance Day, so you probably can't deplatform me more than you've already deplatformed me. To which he then responded by blocking me. So I almost have a feeling, and I got the feeling from this, that this whole conversation seems to go a lot further and a lot deeper than it may have appeared if I've got like academic agent coming out of the woodwork randomly to approach me to ask me to not platform you. And then when I say, well, I don't know that you're a bad person, I would have to platform you in order to find out, he responds by blocking me, which is the first time he has ever done that.
Okay.
So, I mean, I thought that was pretty significant, right? So, I mean, Clossington, what is your view of this? Why is it that people who are entirely unrelated to the incident are coming to me trying to sort of twist my arm as to whether I should even have a conversation with President Sunday?
I don't know. I don't privately DM academic agent on a daily basis. I show up on his streams every once in a while, and then I don't know. We have a little bit of fun. I'm going on to talk about architecture. This is going to be a very beautiful stream, right? But I can't say anything about what I don't know. I really don't know what he's thinking, and I don't particularly see any sort of. I mean, I'm not well connected. I'm just some guy who showed up, right?
Okay.
Hey, Clossington.
Do you think?
Hang on. May I comment on this quickly? May I comment quickly?
No, go on. Go on.
Okay. Clossington, true or false? Did you not post on the 19th, pardon me, of last month? Thank you. Most bigger channels have alt accounts. Morgoth and President Sunday do. I mean, I use an alt account for regular YouTube.
Yeah. I just watch YouTube.
Right. So where are you going with this accusation that I sneak into Discords? President Sunday is not an old account. Maybe this is my alt. Have you considered that? Your name's not Clossington. Your name's not Clossington. You were in my Discord. What are you doing?
Whoa. Okay, so here's the thing. You go into just about every single right-wing Discord looking for gotcha moments.
No.
I remember you got kicked off of Seller's Laments server, and then when he didn't use the exact Hannah Arendt definition of totalitarianism, you DM'd him. You when I said
diabolical.
Yes, that's fucking diabolical. You're looking for gotcha moments, right?
No. If I was looking for gotcha moments, I'd publish them. If I was looking for gotcha moments, I'd save them and publish them.
Yeah, exactly. You're a fucking smear artist.
Exactly.
You're a smear artist. You're looking for any sort of
Clossington.
No, and then
no. Clossington.
For any sort of
if I wanted to Clossington,
mischaracterize them as some sort of bad faith
on your own Discord, I have seen you say that the academic agent believes in the JQ, yada yada yada. It doesn't matter. If I cared about that, I'd be making videos about that. I'm a political scientist. I make videos because the academic agent made bad videos on political science about books that I had read myself, so I could point out where the errors were. That's it. I don't care about what these people think privately. The only reason why I even mentioned that stream, that private conversation with the distributist, was because I needed to give an explanation for why I was being so harsh on the man. I was being harsh on the man because he was acting in bad faith.
Why bring in his real name?
Why would you bring in his real name? He was forcing an interpretation of data because of motivations that he wasn't disclosing. And the motivation that he wasn't disclosing was that he had an inherent
terror. Do you not see how that is unethical? Do you not see how you routinely do an invasion of privacy looking for gotcha moments?
These are public discords. You're not invading privacy by entering a public discord. If you wanted a vetting area, if Endeavor wanted a vetting area, they could make one. As it happens, in the conversation that we are talking about now, that I recorded, I actually spoke. I was in the conversation.
What conversation are you talking about?
The conversation on Endeavor's NRX Discord, the one that we're talking about in which you said we should harass ContraPoints. I spoke in that conversation.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You did not speak at all.
I did indeed. Listen to the end. Listen to the end. Oh, you wouldn't have, though, because you didn't recognize my voice. I'm sorry. My name's not President Sunday. I have an older account.
I mean, as I recall, you used something like Whispering Woods or something.
I don't know what Whispering Woods is. No. No. I didn't use Whispering Woods. That's somebody else. This is before that. As you know, Whispering Woods wasn't in that conversation. I know because I was there. And there was no edit. It'd be very hard to edit, actually, again, because you were talking over each other. You'd notice a bit of a clip there. I'm not that good at editing. I don't know if you noticed. My videos are a little bit hack and slash.
Clossington, I have another question I want to add on to the list of questions that's been going on. I mean, after the leak reached the point where it appeared on Chud Logic's channel, and he essentially hosted me and President Sunday to talk about the audio at the time. I mean, do you get why it was that people on the mainstream left were extremely mad about the audio when they found out that it appeared that people in the dissident right were attempting to deliberately help Bernie or Busters to triangulate against people who were supporting Biden for president? I mean, you can see why that would be that would be seen as a stab in the back, in the sense that everyone is focused right now on trying to remove the gigantic orange blimp from office, then to find out what to do after that. But people are already trying to frustrate that effort. Like, you can imagine why people would perceive you as a wrecker in this context, right?
Halt this conversation, Chris. A fan wants you to say something. Say something.
I know. I don't know. Something. There, I said something.
There we go. Fan service.
Okay, go ahead, Clossington. I want to hear like some explanation of, like, do you get why you'd be perceived as a wrecker in this context?
Like, I don't particularly see the okay, so within the context of the conversation, right? You see, we have this we formulate something of a dichotomy, right, between the supporters of, well, this is based on a 1992 article called Jihad versus McWorld, right, in which McWorld is this hegemonic, global, cosmopolitan, rootless, socioeconomic, telecommunications, ecological, yada yada yada. It's the international system that we run under, controlled by supply chains, pure utility and economic thought, right? And if anyone has any sort of predisposition for being against, I guess, integrated corporatist McWorld, right? Mm-hmm. If anyone has any objections to this, right, we can actually have a decent conversation, right?
It's like a sleazy car salesman, isn't he?
Surely you would recognize, though, that any hypothetical conversation which may or may not happen at some point in the indeterminate future would have to be after the orange blimp is removed first. Because right now, from the perspective of the communities that form the social basis of the left, he is doing immense damage. The blimp, that is, Donald Trump, is doing immense damage to communities of color, to people in the LGBTQ community, and so on and so forth. Like, I don't need to put the etc. You know how long this list is going to be, because it just goes off the charts, right? So surely, if you guys want to reach out and have this interaction with us on the left on this, surely you should first at least say, okay, let's make sure that in the November 2020 election, Donald Trump is removed from office first. And then after we get a return to something that resembles normality, then we could have a conversation about how to move the ball further down the court toward, I don't know, mitigating some of neoliberalism's most offensive behaviors. I mean, I'm not sure how productive that conversation might actually be, given that so many people on the dissident right seem to want to go back to feudalism for some reason. But, I mean, it could still at least, I guess, be a discussion. But to have that conversation prior to Trump's removal from office, and to even be triangulating with Bernie or bust people, that's where the deep sense of just some kind of backstabbing thing was going on. And that was why the sort of the rage from the left was directed towards you on this issue.
Within the context of the conversation, we focused a lot more on the metagame, right? The metagame rather than the actual partisan political game. So within that sort of, I mean, I don't really particularly have one feeling or another on what should be done with in terms of dissident right and dissident left dialogue in terms of the 2020 elections. Like, I really don't have a very well formulated opinion on that. It was much more about the metagame, right? And what kind of
I have something.
No, it's what we want to do about the cost.
Can I help you out here for a second? I want to help you out here for a second. In all seriousness.
No, go ahead then.
In all seriousness, today Vouch tweeted about this recording. if he does a stream about it, and it's possible that he won't and you'll be lucky, but if he does a stream about it, about 10 times, well, probably about 80 times your subscriber base right now will hear you suggesting that they harass ContraPoints. You, not the distributist, he'll simply affirm it. You, if you were wise, you would delete your YouTube identity right now and start again in a few months. I say that out of kindness. You are in a very bad spot. A very bad spot.
Do you agree with him, Clossington? Do you agree with him on that, Clossington?
And why the hell did you go after Distributist? Because he like. Then why the hell are you?
Hang on.
No. For the entire time you went after the Distributist and not me, right?
No.
It's because we have a thing against Distributist.
I'll tell you why. Hang on. So you're referring to the title of the video, obviously. I say the Distributist and neo-reactionaries plot to manipulate bread to the left. That was my title. I think that might have actually been Chud Logic's alteration of it, but let's just go with that. That's what we're referring to, right? That's me going.
You're trying to intimidate me, and then.
Okay, I'll tell you why.
You're trying to intimidate me.
No. I'm not trying to intimidate you at all.
Yes, you are. You're like, take a look, friend.
Listen.
This guy will bring hell upon you.
I lost the word here. Hang on.
He's trying to tell you that your friend threw you under the fucking bus.
No. He does not control. Distributist does not control me. Academic Agent does not control me.
No, they don't. Listen to me. No, they don't. Listen to me. No, they don't control you. I agree. Listen to me.
But then why do you keep on telling me that I should be wary of
to say something, and it's hard to be clear when you're interrupting me. Let me speak. The Distributist doesn't control you. He just doesn't care about you. The reason why I mentioned the Distributist and not you by name is because you, like a lot of the other young people in that group, are clearly just addicted to the likes and the attention that you get from not very big, but slightly bigger people like the Distributist, who is much older and doesn't frankly care if you come on here and humiliate yourself and make yourself identified with that call to harass people like ContraPoints. Very bad choice of example, by the way, because she's already been harassed off of Twitter. So here's the problem.
Nah, she came back.
Fine, but why'd she leave?
Yeah, she has.
And
it was the right wing that harassed her off Twitter, not
it
the
was
left.
just before her.
The turf situation, or.
Great. So that was nothing. Okay, so here's again, like, I don't think that's your disposition, Clossington. I don't think you are the kind of person who actually wants to go out and harass people. You walked back on it. I don't think you're a bad person. I think you are a profoundly stupid person. Whoa. And I think you went along with this.
Oh my God.
Ableism.
I think you went along with this because they made you feel important and that made you feel good to be a part of something. You're a part of something that's not growing, that is going to be getting a lot of heat because of this, and it's mostly going to come down on you because it's your voice proposing it.
No, I don't care. I told you right on the offset when we started DMing each other that I don't give a shit about fame. I don't give a shit about.
Okay, but you're going to get either. It's going to be the opposite.
I don't want to be a cult leader, and then when I find myself,
it's a shame because that's probably your true calling. You'd be good at it.
Whoa! Hold on.
Yeah, let Clossington respond.
You made the accusation that I'm being groomed into something particularly malevolent.
No, I'm not.
I'm just some guy who showed up, who started making little video essays to consolidate my ideas, right? And maybe have a nice conversation and figure things out with these guys who I believed figured things out a lot better than I did, right? And then you fucking petty children go about with this drama nonsense, trying to record clandestine bullshit, and then...
Well, there's a public conversation. It's not clandestine.
No, you accused us of being some kind of like clandestine order. You accused Distributist of trying to groom
I don't think I used those words.
Distributist probably definitely tries to groom everyone, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're affected.
Who the hell actually takes who the hell actually wants to go out of their way and perform some sort of clandestine, orderly, targeted harassment?
Well, Antifa does it a lot to get.
Hang on.
What kind of resources do you think I'm dealing with here? What kind?
What do you need?
Who the hell?
What do you need? Like, what kind of equipment do you think you need?
No. You're accusing me of some sort of incitement for harassment, right?
No.
What the hell?
No. Actually,
I'm just an harmless guy,
hang on.
right?
I took pains to note that you, among everybody there, was the only one to walk back from it. You're the only one there who has the semblance of a conscience. You're just dumb.
Can you refrain from using ableist remarks like dumb or stupid?
Incredibly unethical. You are a sham of a political scientist. You are in the shit with the rest of us. You go and record private conversations.
I'm also a cat and a rapscallion. You missed
on
those.
Skype. No. Let me finish.
Mm-hmm.
You go on to just about everybody's Discord to see what everybody's up to, right?
Well,
Because why do you feel as if you need to be everybody's nanny and to correct Little Sutler's Lament whenever he misuses the definition of totalitarianism? Why do you need to correct me on
this feels like sea lion?
I don't need to.
Yes, you do. You do. You have this ego, right? Where you have to go out, you have to be the moral arbiter, but in the process, you violate so many ethical considerations.
This isn't a competition of who's the greatest man here. And Sunday did say he was vouching for you, the only person he vouched for. He's trying to clear your name from this because he knows that you're not a psycho, but the whole thing with the distributist talking about manipulating people and harassing people and shit and to extrematize them, like, that's fucked up. Like, I'm sorry, like, yes, I get the privacy issue or whatever, but laws are very different in different countries, especially Canada, like Sunday said, which I tried to make a point of earlier. And, like, fuck, like, not much you can do about it. You want to take him to court, you can try, but I assure you, you will fail.
Would you be willing, Clossington, to basically offer condemnation of the other people in the league?
No.
Really, because the distributors said you should harass them.
No.
Said that
you don't want to be on their side because he already is willing to throw you under the bus.
Nonsense. You looked into a 3-hour conversation and tried to find the most incriminating thing.
Most of the day you talked about going to work and going to the bathroom, yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
It was just that one sentence that was bad. It's weird how that works.
Yes, it is weird how that works.
Even out of that 20 minutes,
the next 2 weeks after that, you went from person to person saying,
look, the axe murderer, most of his day he did nothing. He ate lunch, he went back to work, he came home, he had a nap, and then he murdered the woman for about 15 minutes. Big deal.
No, it's not murder. It's just a bunch of guys shit talking on the internet. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations.
Here's the thing that I would ask you then. In terms of like who came here to have the conversation about it, do you not think that it is slightly suspicious that these guys who have up until this point been quite cordial with you, and obviously given that you were in their server having a conversation with them, so one would assume this to be the case, why was it that they only sent you, or not really sent you, but only allowed you to go, but did not volunteer themselves to come here and explain to me? Given that some of these people like hate me with a powerful hatred, surely they should find it to be an interesting opportunity to come onto my show to tell me off for having talked to President Sunday. Why did none of them show?
Okay, first off, I don't coordinate with people. I'm just some guy who's making some plans, and just about everybody.
Yeah, you really like to say that, yet the recording shows you coordinating with people. In fact, proposing things.
Hold on. Let me finish on this. Let me finish. I have done nothing on your streams, but come here in good faith, right? I don't do any of this clandestine nonsense. I don't coordinate. I'm just some guy, right?
It's you, but in private.
Us and the boys, when we're talking big general shit with our big old army caps on, right? When we're talking about that, and we're talking about, I guess, hey, what do you think the metagame is like? What is the grand strategy of all of this, right? This is petty. This is petty. And I see you pushing all of this out there as some sort of I don't know. Like, what do you actually hope to bring about after posting all of this? What do you? I mean, if you
Nothing.
do
I have very modest. I had very modest ambitions with this, and they weren't.
No. Why did you go all the way up to the top? Right? You go to
top of what?
you get good old Vaush involved. You get
Vosh is not the top. Vosh is
zero.
not the top. Vosh is like higher middling tier. He's going about like.
We need a
8,000.
smoke break. Mommy needs a smoke break.
I mean, really,
Why don't
it really
you take a
depends.
smoke break and we can keep going? I'd actually really like
No.
that.
I think this is some
Yeah,
sort
I
of.
bet you would. You have
It
such a
depends,
hate
guys,
hard on for
guys.
me. It's
It
gay.
depends. It depends on how you rank the streamers, right? So I don't know. Depending on how you want to rank it, you'd have like someone like Destiny probably like near the top, and you'd have like Vosh near the top 2/3. Is that what you're talking about?
It doesn't even matter.
No, it doesn't.
Again, the motivation was very modest here, and obviously, if I published it, I wanted people to see it. I'm getting the. Oh my god! Shut up for a second.
Hold on.
No.
Let President Sunday go first, and then I'll let you respond, Clossington. But basically, we need to keep it separated for a second. But I won't. President Sunday, you do need to make this response like at least constrained to 120 seconds.
Sure. Obviously, if I published it, I wanted people to see it. If I wanted people to see it, the most effective way to do that is get people with a larger audience to publish it themselves, and that's what I did. I sent it to people with larger audiences. The ambition wasn't any more grand than just if you guys try to make overtures again. You guys specifically, in that stream, in that video chat, you, Distributist, Charlemagne, what's his name, Mr. Novak, a bunch of other randos who nobody cares about. If you make overtures to the left, they know to be wary. That's all. Why? Not because anyone should be particularly threatened by you, but because as a function of that, you wanted to pick out people on the left who you could identify as, well, you said it yourself. You should target them for harassment in order to drive a wedge into the left. That's basically it. I mean, nobody thinks that you're actually going to succeed at any of this. Like, this isn't serious. It's just bad.
That was very similar to what Chud Logic said as well when you were on his show. He said that he didn't believe that the threat was something that would likely manifest, but that at the same time that people should be on guard against it. So, I mean, do we understand? I mean, do you understand the threat to be the same one that I talked about earlier, which was that this could end up coalescing into a situation where it's just encouraging people online not to support Joseph Biden? Is that basically the direction this was going? Or perhaps even further than that, where you end up with like far-right ideas seeping into the left in ways that people didn't anticipate?
I'm just a student here, right? I'm just trying to figure out how to make my way in this big old ocean, right?
Right.
I don't know what's up and what's down. I'm not some leader of a movement. If anything,
No one said that.
No. Like, you are characterizing what we were talking about as some sort of I don't know, some scheme to push the fate of the general.
All I know is that when boys will be boys and they're shooting the
what
shit,
happened.
they're more serious than
in
you
regards
think.
to the 2020 election. Like, that is like one of the least important aspects of that actual conversation.
Well, I think it's what prompted the conversation.
Oh, then this is absolute nonsense, isn't it?
No. This is what prompted the conversation.
You say that this is about 2020, but who?
Well, I don't care about that.
But in that video, we really don't. I really didn't see anything that said like I wanted anything to happen in 2020.
No, but the conversation didn't
I
just
care about the meta game, not the actual.
Sure, but the
Yes,
conversation
that's
didn't just
Neil's
involve
opinion.
you. I mean, look, you're the one who's here, but the conversation didn't just involve you. The conversation that was recorded was prompted by a conversation between Mr. Novak and the Distributist about what happens after 2020 because of demographic blocking. Demographic blocking.
Yeah, that term was mentioned. Demographic blocking. Please explain for the audience what demographic blocking means, President Sunday, and then we'll let you guys.
I would
talk.
actually like to hand this over to Clossington. Clossington, by all means, please.
Explain what. Someone explain to me what demographic blocking.
Well, I can if you want. I can if you want. Clossington, do you not want to go?
I don't know what demographic blocking is. What are you
Why
talking
don't we think about this while we take a break?
Let's think this through. Okay, Hera, come on. Let's think this through.
Don't Hera come on me. We literally have a break every hour.
No, not in this instance because we're too
Are you
involved.
serious?
Yep.
Oh
there is no
my
break.
Hera, Parrot, I don't think anybody will complain if you take a break. I'm not saying that to be mean. Just by all
Yeah,
means.
you are actually. You're a huge
Oh my god.
dick.
Okay, say your insult, then go take a break, and we'll continue. It's okay.
No. Fuck
Good.
y'all.
All right. So, anyways, demographic blocking. Well, the reference is to immigration, clearly. Immigration and to what's the word? I lost it. Damn it. Affirmative action. Thank you. So the point is that people who are not of the demographic of the dissident right, 5 guesses what that is, are occupying all the spaces that would allow the dissident right to exercise control, or at the very least, an inordinate, well, a disproportionate amount of influence relative to the size of their population.
Hmm. So, I mean, literally,
Non-white.
you could.
Too many non-white.
Yeah, that's what that means then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No.
Like,
Or is he wrong?
I guess Clothington just wants to say he's ignorant about this, and that's fair if he is.
I don't follow. Like, I'm talking about metagame philosophy. What can we learn from each other?
I have no idea. Okay.
And people who don't actually adhere to something like, the mainstream narrative is wrong. Well, let's have some sort of, I guess, reinforcement against people who actively, talk in their video about advertising bad, mainstream media bad, and then get endorsed by. Like, I don't see what the corollary is.
Okay,
You're talking about the elections.
Listen, there's an easy way. There's an easy way for us to see eye to eye on this.
Part of the issue.
Closington, the alcohol's just hit me, so I'm a little bit amicable right now. There's an easy way for us to resolve this. Simply condemn the call to harass people at ContraPoints, and then condemn the people who listen to me. I'm not done. And then condemn the people who said no, you should. Very simple.
Of course, I condemn any sort of IRL harassment of
And
bread
who?
or no. I will not condemn the.
Do you
people
deny that the distributor said in that recording that yes, you should harass ContraPoints?
No, within that call, we walk it back. Within that call, we walk it back.
No, you walk it back. I can play it again. You walk it back.
No, let's go over this.
After you walk it back, he insists on going forward.
No.
Ray, permission to
I won't
play the recording again.
condemn.
Ray, I can play it for us right now.
No, I won't condemn.
You're a coward.
No.
You know because he's watching.
No.
You know because he's watching is your bread and butter. He's the only hope you have of your channel succeeding.
I don't give a shit about whether.
Yes, you do.
Yes, the distributors will come on to.
Yes, you do.
I don't give a shit. I'm just.
You're only talking about the private conversation between me and him over Skype because he told you to emphasize that.
No.
Yes.
No. Distributors advised against it, but I came on here because I wanted to actually.
I mean, says you, maybe on his advice. I don't know who even knows. But I can play the recording again. I'd be happy to do so. Clear as day, he says it. You walk back, and then he says, "No, harass." That's right, harass. Shall I? I'd be happy to. Ray, may I?
I'm not sure how that would actually be.
I mean, everyone's already heard it the first time already, but I mean, you could play it back if you want to.
Wellington seems confused.
No. What you're asking me to do is, I don't know what you're asking me to do. You're asking me to. No. You're asking me to condemn.
I can make it very simple for you.
IRL people.
I can make it very simple for you. Would you like me to?
No, I don't want you to propose.
Ray, would you like me to make it simple for Closington?
You're giving me an ultimatum.
Ray, would you like me to make it simple for Closington?
Take
all right. Our host
this is what you did with Academic Agent. This is what you tried to do with.
I actually.
This is what you're going to do to Endeavor, and that's why we.
Hold on. Yeah, let President Sun explain what he is trying to ask of you here.
It's very simple. You've already indicated in no uncertain terms that you condemn any call to harass people. Fine. Obviously. And then as a secondary to that, do you condemn anybody who calls to harass people? Well?
I mean, of course I condemn any sort of advocates harassment.
Good.
However, you're taking
No, not
this
however.
very
We're not done
not serious
We're not done yet.
call
We're not there yet.
and then
Club.
labeling it as serious
please.
because you are a bad faith actor.
Ray, please.
You go into servers
Ray,
and you look
please.
for gotcha moments.
I'm not done.
Yeah, let him finish. Let him
annoying
finish.
for the audience, I'm sure. Closington, in the recording that I played for us, that you can see on Chud Logic's channel, that you can see on mine if you go to the link on my Twitter, you will hear the distributist in no uncertain terms after you walk back from saying, no, we shouldn't harass. I don't mean harass. He says, no, harass. He says, yes, you should. This puts him into the former category of people who advocate harassing your political enemies. If you condemn those people, logically, you should condemn the distributist. Why won't you? What's special?
No. It's because within the conversation,
you're
you're talking about any sort of pushback.
I'm talking about what you
talk about living by your idea.
tongue.
If you are truly against something like McWorld, do not
I don't know what
tacitly.
that world is. I don't care about that. I asked you a simple question. Answer the question, Closington.
What is the Dude, what is the question? What do you want?
Why will you not condemn the distributist for obviously saying to you against your better judgment, no, we should harass people like ContraPoints? Why is the distributist allowed to say that in your world and get off scot-free? Why is it okay when he says that if you're perfectly willing to condemn other people for advocating for harassment? Why is this a blank spot on your map?
Why am I defending him? Because this was not a serious conversation. This was some sort of like off hours, like just talking among the pros, right?
It is very well. I mean,
turn this into some sort of stage.
Are you really going to say that there's no element of seriousness that was involved in any of that conversation, though?
I mean, how much actual credibility do you give to Discord conversations?
Well, Closington, I'm perfectly happy to allow you to have
just some guys throwing out ideas about dudes with big brick textbooks.
Okay, here's the problem with you saying that was just shooting the shit and that's not serious. Because the nature of the conversation was that you were talking about basically feigning. You were putting up a front, is the specific language used, of deceiving people as to your actual nature. So we can't trust what you say here, can we?
Is that not what you do? Is that not what you do?
No, it's not what I do. I'm actually very upfront about what I do.
No.
About it. And I'll tell you how you would know in concrete terms.
Behind their back.
I'll tell you how you should
and
know.
And then you try to find blackmail for them.
Closington. If I was actually going behind your back, I wouldn't be correcting you in DMs, would I? I'd be keeping that secret.
I don't care what you have to say, really.
Well, you clearly do because you asked me. I mean, if you want to waste your time, it's your prerogative. I personally, I have things to do. But you asked me, so...
No. What do we actually want from this conversation, right? You want me to condemn...
I was asked to come along. I didn't actually fight myself. Apparently, you actually said something to the effect of, like, I didn't want to be confronted. I'm actually perfectly happy to be confronted. But in truth, I was actually perfectly happy to sit this one out.
It's because in Ray's server, you said something... You sounded somewhat hesitant to come on because I was coming on.
No. I didn't care about you. I just didn't want to come on because it was wasting my time. I already done an hour-long stream on Chud Logic, and that's like 3 hours to set up. No, I'm not scared of you, Closington. I guarantee you that.
I know you're not. I'm just some guy who showed up a couple months ago.
Yeah. You made some bad decisions in that short span of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like talking to you.
Well, I mean, that's one of them.
I mean, you said not me.
Coming on here was a mistake. That was really dumb. If I had been in your position, I wouldn't have done something so stupid. I would have simply distanced myself as much as possible because what's going to end up happening now, Chud Logic video is actually doing, it's the best video he's done, I think, in a little while. It's actually already almost at 2,000 views. More than your subs, by the way. So
I don't care about
this is maybe you should care about the fact that this is now what you are most known for.
Who gives a shit within our circles or within my circle? A private conversation was leaked in which
not
I
a private
say
conversation, not a private conversation, it was in a public conversation. Very public. Endeavor invites people to it. He puts it under every video. The word says you are invited when you press the button. I was invited to that conversation. In fact, I was never banned from that conversation. I left of my own accord, and then I came back with another account that was older, by the way. Because your name's not Clossington, my name's not President Sunday, Endeavor's name's not Endeavor. Everybody in that conversation had a different name, and they had decided that it was fine for whoever was there to hear it.
Yeah, actually, this leads to an interesting question. Why is it that the OPSEC was so incredibly thin on the ground in that scenario? Because a lot of people have actually raised this privacy issue and said, oh, how could President Sunday have been there to have, like, rammed on the record button? And then, you know, it then comes out that, oh, the place was wide open. Anyone could walk in and press record anytime that they wanted. Like, why was that allowed if people were so sensitive about possible recordings? Why was the place wide open?
To be fair, it's not Clossington.
That's more of a modding issue. That's more of a modding decision, and not sort of a. That's not my decision. I'm no mod.
Who's a mod on that channel? If you don't mind my asking.
The exclusive mod is Endeavor.
Oh, so he's the only mod.
Yes.
No, that's not good.
So that's I mean, yes, it is quite unfortunate, and it is quite unfortunate that that you can't have any sort of conversation on a public Discord channel without.
That's private. You can't have a private conversation in public. What a world!
Oh yeah, what a world.
There are ways that they could have made that whole scenario private if they really wanted to, which is basically have vetting before the people get in. That way, if you're gonna join a voice chat, you're less likely to have people there who shouldn't be there.
Well, I mean,
but they can't not do that and then turn around afterwards and say that President Sunday is some kind of villainous villain for having been present and having hit record.
Although I'm going to be honest, I like that very much if they did use that exact terminology. However, if I may, Clossington, you know how Discord works. Everybody who is in chat can see every other participant. Is that not true?
That is true.
That is very true. So listen. What they said with the understanding that they would be overheard by every single person in the discussion.
Do you not see how unethical that is, though?
No, I don't see how unethical that is, Clossington.
I have no problem invading other people's
I have no problem
especially
going
on that one-on-one Skype call.
Clossington,
that is why we don't like you, and that is.
I am not under any obligation to keep what you want to be secret if you're stupidly displaying it for all to see. That's on you. And as it happens, what you displayed for all to see was a proposition by you in your voice to harass people like ContraPoints, and you specified ContraPoints. I don't know if you know much about ContraPoints. ContraPoints has a pretty colorful history with respect to harassment. It kind of defines a lot of the conversation around here. Very bad decision. Very bad decision.
Also, there are people in the chat who are asking, like, where is the leak? The leak had already been published previously. The leak was published by President Sunday, and it also appeared on Chud Logic's Twitch stream as well. So the purpose of this stream is to discuss the fallout from those two streams. So I think there are some people in the chat who did not understand this. They were thinking we were going to break this like it's already broken. It's been broken like 2 days ago. That's why we're discussing it.
Why don't we put the link to the Chud Logic stream into that, because he has some good commentary as well.
Yeah, I'll put it into the comment section and the description after we're done, obviously, so that there'll be context to what we're talking about.
Right. So this seems done to death. I don't know about you guys.
I mean, I kind of feel like both sides did present their positions, but I would still, obviously, out of balance, I would still give obviously Clossington a chance to like respond to what you have said, and then we'll see where we go from there. Like after that, I think we can like go to a break, and then perhaps like decide where we're going to go from there. And then when we've made our decision as to where we want to go from there, either we sort of disconvene the panel, or there's something else that needs to be done. Then when we come back from break, we can like do one of those two things. But I mean, it really depends. I mean, obviously, Clossington, I'll give you the chance to respond to what President Sunday has just said, given that he opened the conversation. So I think it would be right that you'd have the final. Well, if this turns out to be the final, depending on whether we come back from break with it or not. So I mean, it's up to you, Clossington. Do you want to?
Do you remember what I said? I don't.
I understand what you said. But you wanted me. I specifically said don't harass. I do not believe that ContraPoint should be harassed.
Good.
That is perfectly clear, and we are fine with that. Are we not?
Who's
However, I guess anyone who is watching this stream sees that I do not believe in harassment. I do not.
You don't believe in
Right.
condemning harassers.
However, you're telling me to take this thing seriously and to
Yeah.
take off-hours conversations that are not on YouTube, that are public, to be
The
serious.
time of day does not affect the severity of a statement. I'm sorry to say.
No,
If that's your
I don't
defense
care about
at
this.
night, I'm afraid
I
you're going
really
to have
don't care about
a
it.
hard time selling that one.
No, like I really don't. This is silly. This is just looking for some sort of gotcha moment, and then exploiting
I'm
it.
looking for a
With
gotcha.
some sort of,
Posington,
some sort of
I didn't have
no,
to
no,
look
no.
for a
Let
gotcha
me
moment.
finish.
Shot it out into the
Let me
ether by
finish,
yourself.
President Sunday. You
Please.
keep on giving me ultimatums as if I don't know what I
I'll
said.
give you one. I'll give you one.
No. You're
Yeah.
treating me like I'm some sort of puppet. I came on here of my own free volition to say that you are a bad faith actor looking through hours of content open for the public. I do not believe.
In this case would be to your credit. I didn't say you have no.
No,
position in this case.
no. You're telling me to condemn a silly conversation. This is not
silly conversation.
serious.
Not a silly
I feel-
conversation.
It is serious.
Let me narrow it down. Let me make it palatable for you then.
No. You don't understand. You go into private. You go into these Discord servers looking for a fight. And guess what? You find a fight, and you find your gotcha moment.
Do you know what I heard? You know what I heard?
You put this nonsense all over Twitter. No, you asked. No. Ray asked me to give some sort of final statement before we go to break, right? So let me finish.
Yeah.
You want me to... I do not believe in harassment, but this is not a serious conversation. This is not a serious issue. Nobody believes that we should be bad faith actors, and it's an act of bad faith when President Sunday goes around and records these conversations that the public is not exactly that nobody really cares about. Like, who gives a shit?
Indeed.
Who really gives a shit? This is just a couple guys, right? And you don't understand that. It's like, all right, so you found something, but guess what? Closton didn't say anything. Congrats. We're in post-truth. We're in the era of post-truth, guys. Brilliant. And if Vouch wants to do some sort of analysis, then it's like, so be it. I don't care. It's not going to stop me. No. President Side, stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. Right? Because, look, I'm just some guy. I come on. It's going to be a me at this point.
Should change that to your title.
That is probably going to make him a meme because you've probably said that probably about 16 times
You should
since
make it
the
your title.
conversation.
It'd be really good.
No, if it's this easy to just rise, like, I don't give a shit about the fall, because you know what? I'm just here. I'm just here, and I'm not really going away. Not if President Sunday threatens me with some sort of ultimatum.
What?
Right?
I didn't threaten you.
Yeah, you're like publicly condemned distributist.
That's not a threat.
Or what? Or what? What are you gonna do? It's like, okay, so
I didn't say I was going to do anything if you said no. I was giving you an out.
So
Closing
distributist and I walk into a bar and we start shooting the shit, and then little President Sunday comes in with his little notepad and finds a gotcha moment. Congratulations. All right, you got your little moment. But, you know, this is silly. This is beneath you. This is beneath consideration.
People would take this seriously.
This is beneath consideration. Because where's the call?
Where's the fact that you think this is consideration is part of what implicates you? That's a bad thing, that you think that calling for the harassment of people is beneath consideration. That's bad optics, my friend.
No,
Very bad
what we were talking about within the context of harassment was something like angry tweets and replies on YouTube videos on this
The actual
little.
language that the distributors used prior to you saying that you should harass her for it was you should humiliate them. Humiliate them. And then you escalated to harassment and you walked back. Good for you. I'm very pleased you did. But then the distributors went back and said, no, harass them. And repeated harass them several times.
No, it's the conflation of some sort of physical harassment.
He's almost said it here.
And replies. It's like, what do you think? What kind of power do you think we have? It's like, okay, I'm gonna shoot a mean tweet to little ContraPoints BreadTube because she got a nice puff piece in The Economist. Congratulations, guys! You are an keyboard warrior, guys. Brilliant, and you found it. You found it. Send mean tweets to ContraPoints.
You like Jordan Peterson? You like Jordan Peterson?
No.
I don't really like him either. He's a little bit wishy-washy, but he's got this really nice metaphor. You are an axe murderer without an axe. Your sole defense is that you're incompetent.
But I don't. I'm not a murderer, and I don't have an axe. And I don't have any intent to murder, as I said on the leak.
You proposed to harass ContraPoints.
What is the harassment? The harassment is mean tweets.
It might have been prudent to specify, wouldn't it? But you didn't.
But it's a private conversation. Okay, so it's a conversation among friends in this rather walled off.
Clearly not. Because I was in the conversation. Did you guys?
Yeah,
say
with your little notebook at the bar. Oh no, distributist, his pants fell down. Oh no.
I think your pants.
I got a picture of his ass.
I'll just sit in them.
Okay. So I'm just going to have to break up that clash a little bit there. And what we're going to do after this is we're going to go to break, and then we're going to talk about, while we're on break, we're going to talk about, what we're going to come back from break and do. And either we'll come back from break and resume something if there are any points that the two parties think have not been explored yet, or we'll do the unprecedented thing of actually coming back from break and then actually going through the end sequence because of the fact that the parties no longer feel there's anything left that they can talk about that hasn't already been talked about. So break lasts about 5 minutes, so we'll just go to that and then we will be back soon. So basically watch the countdown and stay with us until then. So, welcome back, everyone who stayed with us for the second segment. This might end up being the shortest second segment we've ever had because both of our guests, having talked during the Be Right Back section when we were, off mic, they both came to the agreement that there are no more points that they're willing to cover at this point because they've gone through all of the points that each of them wanted to cover. So the only thing left for me to do at this point is to obviously thank everyone for showing up. And tomorrow we will return to a more normalized schedule. So we'll have obviously political coverage of some sort tomorrow. And I will put out a tweet and show you what the schedule is and who is going to be present at that time. So it's been an interesting evening. We'll see you all next time. So, goodbye.
Take care.